Good evening, everybody. We would like to invite you and also thank you for participating today with us in the webinar, how to prepare for the migration projects to the Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain Management, and how at the best to ensure a smooth project execution. So today, there are two of us, me, Agne Pelaniene. I'm a business line manager of finance and supply chain management here at OneClick Factory, and my colleague, Pauliau, stage is yours, please.
Yes, sorry. So yeah, hi. So yeah, I am Paulius Brzgis. I'm a technical architect, Dynamics 365 technical architect, coming also from OneClick Factory.
So hello from Vilnius, everybody. And today we have a little bit of agenda that is formulated a little bit from the soft part and maybe a little bit of the hard part, like tech part. So first of all, we'll introduce ourselves, and then we will move through the challenges and opportunities that we have and we face in the customer and partner network when moving to Dynamics 365 for finance and supply chain management to cloud. Then we'll discuss a little bit about the pre-sale phase and what is a different probably approach or a little bit innovative approach that we have to encounter in actually processes of sales when talking about migration projects. Then about how to be the best prepared, looking at the risk management from the project management, and then we will move to the chapter how to overcome technical risks that comes with the migration project, and of course QA session. And before we start, a little bit who we are and why we're here, and a little bit about OneClick Factory. We like to call us that is your partner's business software cloud factory. So established in 2009, we had a vision that everybody's supposed to be on the newest version. And over the past 12 years, we kind of managed to perform about 700 plus migration projects in our company, and also working worldwide with more than 400 partners in 11 regions. And so our team is made of 100, probably 50 already people. So we kind of a migration upgrades the house for the partners' competency. And before we will start with our webinar, we would like to invite you to answer a few poll questions. Okay. So far, actually, we have 4 participants actually that actively participating in the questions, and actually the questions are very related to our today's, let's say, reality, and it's a fair question to kind of to ask why and what is a struggle actually at the moment of moving customers to Dynamics 365 to cloud. And each of you and also us probably are trying to figure it out, what stopped them. And here now, based on the answers, we still see that the highest rating, approximately, let's say 50% of answers said that it's a knowledge about new possibilities, and probably this what stops customer as they are a little bit of a fear, right? And then another is an unclear migration process, and is in the second place of the answers. And usually we know what we want, but we don't know how to start. And again, it gives us a little bit of an answer what to do. So let's try to go little by little in all of those areas. And first of all, let's see what Dynamics 365 Cloud actually, what challenges and opportunities brings on our table. And first of all, as a customer is the primary source of kind of the new business actually for us, and they are the ones who are going to be using the system. So new cloud version, first of all, bring them challenges, right? Including if they are in the old version for about, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 15 years, maybe they are on a X3 or maybe on the 4, maybe on 9 and so on. Actually, first of all, as all of you answered, the challenge is that the customers don't know what new possibilities could come and how those possibilities could empower the business moving forward, and even why it is important. Then fear of change, and because of the experiences that they had, because normally all our projects, they are not very easy, they are long going. Usually there are a lot of change during that. So people, especially if people are still in the company, they remember all of that and kind of face us like, guys, we have these bad experiences, we don't want it anymore. Then, of course, unclear process. How to start, how to manage, who's supposed to be involved. System looks very big. There are so many rumors in the market, and people are just literally standing in one place, being afraid to start. Then, when going into very big projects, as finance and supply chain management implementation or migration project, actually, there's always a challenge how to ensure that the same resources are going to be shared between business and the project, and that again brings part of the fear. And also what new technology brings and how this new technology is going to be empowered. What is if we lack some knowledge, and how is going to be in the future? So it's a little bit of the lack of visibility and experience in the market. And of course, how to work with the change management inside the company. But also together with that, as every change is very scary and challenging, there are, of course, new opportunities. And first of all, definitely product quality, scalability, continuous new features and functionality that are brought on the table without even additional development, or empowering new businesses and business areas to join the framework. Also mobility, ability to access environment 24/7. Actually, this pandemic showed very well the need of that, right? Very intuitive interface and possibility to perform tasks fast from one place, from one screen, and so on. And of course, reducing the cost of the maintenance, hosted environments, no need to have servers in-house, or also support of the and scalability worldwide. So those are the main business opportunities that actually they might sound very kind of simple from one way, but then when facing big organizations in a huge international environment, those things becoming very critical for the customers. However, it's not only the customer in the picture. We always have a partner, and like you. And so again, we have challenges and opportunities in that. So first challenge is how to lower the risk. So how to ensure that the movement from already quite heavily modified environment and a lot of years of experience, how to ensure that the project is going to be lower risk, on expectation, and even at the end of the day will make customer happy. Also, as how to save time on the sales process, because as big a system is, the sales process is usually very long, empowering quite experienced people from the team that already are bottlenecks in our organizations, and also how to increase project success rate, because as I always say, if we will make a good project, there will be a customer will tell another 7 customers, but if we will make a bad project, the customer will tell another 7 customers, and those 7 will tell another 7 customers. So success rate is actually initial for our business success. However, with all those challenges that we face, we also getting new opportunities in the partner channel. So first of all, ability to have a repetitive and perspective way on implementation or migration project, which actually as soon as we are getting into one, then it becomes very predictable on any other kind of scaling of implementation. Then very motivated team, because team feels like they are growing constantly, they are the newest version, that they are very demanding in the market, they are always the smartest and the best. And actually this is brought with the technology, but also very important to keep people around the table, right? And of course, evergreen version. So evergreen version, in the future, all our upgrades or migrations are going to be moved in very small scales, way more predictable, way more manageable. And of course, such kind of expensive migration projects will be retired. So how to start and how to ensure that we are on the right foot already from the very first phase. So pre-sale. Pre-sale is one that really supporting very, very well sales channel. So how it helps to overcome possible challenges in the sales process. First of all, sales process supposed to be restructured a little bit, and as customer is a real owner of the project and of the system, so they have to be involved and educated enough to take an ownership and to start talking the same language together with our salespeople. Instead for us telling them what they will have, is actually allow them to make their own decisions and before even projects start, for them to be confident where they're going to. Then also it comes together where we as partners supposed to become a trustful advisors and treat the customer part of the team, because the best learning, it comes from discussions, from step-by-step approach, getting people on the same page in the business area, in the small process, and so on, and also make them part of their own system implementation strategy moving forward. And of course, add value in the technical element, because in the pre-sale stage is very useful to run a customer through a number of training programs that are the business critical, just to ensure that we are all on the same page. And then we will come into the process analysis or system adaptability, or even figuring out if there is a need or any kind of modification moving further that the customer is already would be introduced in the standard features and functionalities of the system for them to empower to make the right decision. And the last but not least is actually how to prepare to avoid possible failure. So as I said, good preparation is half of work, and it could be half, it could be 50% of work, it could be even 70% of work, because as better we are prepared for the project and moving forward, the more successful project is. So from that extent, we could take a couple of preparation stages that are pretty much critical for the project as such. So first of all, we're supposed to set the very right expectations and clear goals. It's supposed to be quite precise, not high level, understanding step by step and every single milestone where we will go and what we get in the project. Then the milestones, actually, and also the milestones of the project, who's supposed to be involved in the milestone delivery, when it's going to be, what the value of the milestone is going to be met in the project. So it's quite classical requirement, but very critical. Also clear responsibilities in every step. And it might sound very simple, but as we have a lot of stakeholders like customer people that are involved in the project, and also you as partner, and maybe ISV partners, and maybe some freelancers and so on. So there are quite a big and extensive team that now joining in our implementation project. So the clear owner of each delivery step supposed to be defined already at the beginning. Choose skill members, and this is also very critical. Sometimes, as simple as it sounds, even data migration would require a person who already saw Dynamics 365 at least a few times and has not 2 years of experience, but maybe 5 years of experience. Terminology is supposed to be not new for the person, and they really would be able to go through the quite heavy technological challenge without kind of training material before that. And employee training. So employee training, we used to think that employees supposed to be trained like at the end of implementation. However, employees supposed to be trained in iterations at the beginning, at the end of the milestone. They also supposed to be very involved in overall system implementation and approval, that it will help them to adapt system before going live and before UAT that they will have to do. And then there's a psychological factor of the project, and usually we really focus on the hard Excel, like milestones, what we're supposed to do and when we're supposed to do and how, but then we really forgot what does it means to manage the change. And as a rule, this is where usually projects get stuck, because there is no acceptance at the single user level. For them, it's scary, it's very new, system is changing. So we have to invest enough to talk with every single stakeholder in their own language, first of all, why we do it. So why this migration project is chosen, what does it mean for the company, and nevertheless, what does it mean for exact person? Because for people, there is a lot of fear. And it's not only kind of how the interface is going to change. For them, it might look that there's some functions are going also to be fulfilled by the system, and people naturally might fear that the role that they're doing now is not going to be enough, and they might lose job and so on. And how funny sometimes it sounds, but it's a real life scenario. Also, for people, it's very important to plan. Each and every one supposed to know when change will happen, why, what it will require from them. They're supposed to be involved in their project plan presentation together with the name listed in the project plan, even if the role is going to be press one button of the function, but it's still something they're supposed to know and be informed. Also, they're supposed to know where is the stability and what will not change. And the same, because for people, sometimes it's very difficult to see where is the stability, and they imagine things way bigger than they are in reality. So this conversation also supposed to happen. And also, we always supposed to communicate loud and clear where are exact risks, what might be wrong, and how we will manage it. And just to give people the confidence that even the problems will appear, how they're going to be solved, just to bring a confidence on the table, and continuously report on the progress, showing how we are doing, where we are in the process, how it is affecting people. Also, always remember to say thank you for everybody actually who is involved. And this is very important into the building the confidence and about your job and about the system that after go live end user is going to be using. And now I will bring the word to my colleague Paulus and actually talk a little bit about technical challenges.
Yeah, so Agna more talked about about the business challenges and about project challenges. And yeah, I also have another topic for today that is a bit more technical. And so this topic is basically based on our experience. So we at OneClick Factory, our team is quite experienced in migrating existing on-prem, so AX12 and AX2009 customers to Dynamics 365. And these just going to be some insights just to get yourself ready for the actual migration, and not even ready, but maybe, let's say, the mistakes that you could avoid in an early phase in that migration. From our experience, what are the main Dynamics 365 finance supply chain management migration technical challenges? So first of all, the biggest challenge when we hear migration is usually the code. So whoever digs a bit into Dynamics 365 and understands that code requires refactoring the extensions already see that as a major challenge, and even they are usually making up a decision that, hey, we are not migrating anything, we're just gonna re-engineering because it's the same thing, right? So that's one of the challenge. And yeah, I'll talk about that assumption a bit later. Second challenge is regards data. So regards data, usually there are different requirements for data to be migrated, and usually data cleanups are required for different reasons, usually data inconsistencies and so on. Then again, another challenge is integrations. Cloud, by definition, is a different beast than the on-prem ERP systems were, and it's a bit of a different way how you integrate that. And that's usually overlooked challenge in those migrations, but yeah, it needs attention, and I'll talk about it again, how to address it. And the last one is reporting in BI. It has a bit of a different challenge than the other ones. BI and reporting has so much possibilities in the Cloud Dynamics 365 that's it's usually a bit of a difficult to pick the right one. So again, I'll talk a bit that one, how to address it. So let's talk first about the code migration. So and first of all, how to tackle code migration. So from our current projects, we learned that, and the past projects, we learned that it's usually best idea, first of all, do not throw all of the code away, but second of all, don't move all of the code. So the idea behind code migration is you should challenge your current customizations before migration. So plan time for that, and that will result in a better quality solution in Dynamics 365. So if you have a list of customizations, that's great. Then just challenge every customization and see whether that customization is still required by business and whether that should be migrated or whether that could be covered with some standard new feature available in Dynamics 365. And yeah, if of course there are customizations that are still needed, then you can migrate them, and that will save time and versus re-implementing the whole solution. So that's what I have. Point 2 on my slide here. Do not rush to implement it all. There will very much likely, and I know many customers have said, nah, we're just going to re-implement, and they're going to end up, still picking up the same pieces because, hey, it's a process that's running for your organization, right? Why do you want to throw something completely away, and why do you want to reinvent bicycles sometimes? So there's definitely processes that are going to stay the same, and you can lift existing code pieces to Dynamics 365 and save time, save effort, and spend that effort on other areas. And the last one that I also wanted to talk about, so another thing that could help in the code migration is if you are in the preparation phase or consideration phase to migrate to Dynamics 365, it's a good idea to improve code quality in your current system. So clean up what's not needed already in Dynamics AX12 or AX9 or even 4 with whatever version you have. So clean up unused code, clean up code merge conflicts. So hotfixes, Microsoft hotfixes usually cause code merge conflicts. Clean those up. It will help you, and it will help you tremendously when you're going to actually be doing the code migration. So these are some tips and some insights from our projects, how to tackle code migration. Next on how to tackle migration or data migration, business data migration, right? So with the business data migration, again, it's usually a big cloud of questions. How do I actually tackle that? The thing is, everything is possible with the data migration. And you need to find the right answer and the right scenario, what's actually relevant for your organization. So first of all, work with business requirements and figure out, whether your organization needs all of the historical data in the new version, whether you only need certain years of data in the cloud, or whether you can start fresh. So challenge all of that, figure out with your business stakeholders what's the requirement. Another top is to push for the best data quality solution. So if you are, let's say, migrating with everything that's in the old system, try to clean it up as much as possible. So try to remove unnecessary data items, like old customers that you are not using anymore, maybe some historical orders. The message behind that is storage in the cloud is critical, so you want to keep as low profile as possible on the cloud. So clean up, improve data quality already on the old system if possible. If not, then plan for that and do that during data migration. And the last one is, of course, plan. So again, don't leave data migration to the last for the last steps. Do multiple iterations of data migration. Start with the planning and analysis as soon as you can. Do many rounds of test data migrations to make sure that the final migration will be successful. So that's about the data. Next one that they have also wanted to share is integrations. So for the integrations, as I mentioned, they are sometimes overlooked in the migration project because everybody's focused on the processes and the data and even BI, and integrations, they just leave it for the last. That's usually not correct. So with integrations, you have to start early. So think about identify which integrations are possible to be migrated to cloud, compatible migrated to cloud, and which ones require completely redesign, because there will very much likely will be integrations that require complete redesign. So dedicate enough time. Again, plan, and pick the best cloud technology for each integration. There are loads of options available for integration. So try to pick the best one. Don't do every integration synchronous because there are some limitations in Dynamics 365. And again, don't try to do some workarounds on-prem and whatnot. Really invest time, pick the latest technologies, pick what's recommended by Microsoft. If you have access to fast-track architects, that's great. They usually are happy to challenge the integration scenarios and help you on that. So really invest in planning and start with integrations as early as you can, because they can, multiple parties involved, so they can drag the project duration tremendously. Again, and the last one is, this one's a bit tricky, but the last tip is avoid changing all systems at once. So it's usually tempting to make a big change when you're rolling out your ERP system. But, you might want to change system by system. So if you are planning to change your CRM system, maybe that's fine, because Dynamics 365 CRM and finance operations is integrated. But other systems, you might want to do a transitional change, to not on a day when you're going to go live to have as little risks as possible. So plan for some intermediate steps, intermediate integrations to make that transition, as easy on your IT organization as possible. So again, these are some tips and lessons learned. We've learned through our projects with integrations. And the last one is reporting and BI. So this one's like a nice to have, a positive problem risk, I would say. So for the reporting and BI, we have so many technologies, so many capabilities in Dynamics 365 that's usually quite difficult to pick. So what you want to do with reporting is, first of all, some technologies are still supported. So let's say reports, SRS reports from on-prem versions of AX, they are still supported. So feel free to pick the ones that you needed. Don't try to migrate at all. So the same as with code, don't try to migrate at all, only migrate the ones that are relevant and used by your business. For the new technologies, now, new technologies might be something that's overwhelming and there's a lot of them, but before committing, let's say, to the data lake or to some specific BI technology, even Power BI, try to make a proof of concept and don't commit all of your investment in time and Azure credits into one technology, but proof of concept, and try to really pick the right technologies for different scenarios. So for business documents and for financial reporting and for analytics, try to pick technologies that actually work for you, and invest in some proof of concepting, and together with even with the key users, to try and see what's the technology that your organization would be most happy to use, and of course costly efficient when we're talking about cloud. So these were some technical tips, let's say, how to address and how to incorporate those into the technical project planning. Now, I also have another short topic, which I actually have expanded in my other webinar, and I have a blog post on that. But just to brief you a bit, I have another small topic. So what needs to be addressed from technical side before starting the migration? So in case you are on the AX12 or AX12.9 or other on-prem Dynamics AX versions, what you can already do to make the transition less stressful, and in case you have to customize your existing system, how you can implement those customizations for them to be more friendly when you finally get Dynamics 365, right? So again, just some tips. For the customizations, you can build Dynamics 365 compatible customizations in X++. There are some workarounds and there are some tips, but basically you can imitate the extensibility that's provided by Dynamics 365. As I mentioned, I have a blog post where I elaborate a bit more on that, so there will be a link at the end of this webinar. For the data, as I already talked in the data chapter, please clean up the database, slim down business database, reduce the size, improve the quality already on the existing ERP system. Your existing ERP system will be thankful for that, but also the migration will be easier. And for the last one, for the integrations, so there is already a possibility to use cloud-friendly integration patterns in your on-prem systems. So try to, if you have to build new integrations there, try to do that in a way that you don't have to re-engineer completely when you move to 365. Try to use those as we call it, cloud-friendly integration patterns. And again, for the patterns, I have referred that in a blog post. So feel free to learn more about that, and I won't expand it here. So hey, these were some technical topics I had regards to migration, and I hope you find it helpful and you can incorporate that into your technical project plans when you're finally planning the migration to Dynamics 365. And Agne, back to you.
So thank you, Paulo. And of course, I actually want to still keep some time for QA, but before that, so let us share a little bit of our story just for the end. So for OneClick Factory, actually, we are many years already, 12 years working with that, and already, as you see, we're not using the term upgrade, we're using the term migration, because each of the projects moving from the older versions to D365 are completely unique. Each of them are pretty much as a masterpiece of upgrade pieces and development and moving and so on in an object level. So actually, so for for a number of years, we already support partners kind of moving to the newest technology and also helping them to reduce the risk as much as possible while managing the project, while setting the right stages, where performing actually the right actions during the project, and also preparing the partners team actually to perform pretty much light, let's say, UAT to go together with the customers and to ensure that the system will be working at the end of the day. And just to remind, everything that we were covering today actually falls into 3 pillars. How we see the project as such, overall the journey pretty much on the migration. So that is made out of the migration strategy definition, everything that I was talking like before, then executing migration to cloud, everything that Paulus was talking, and then of course how we live after and how the customers are going to be staying on evergreen version, and how the new functionalities are going to be empowered, and how to ensure that system is going to be scalable. Because to ensure system scalability, first of all, we have to have the proper strategy and to start with the right foot going into the project. And as Paulus was talking, the right technologies, the most newest technologies, and the technology that proposed by Microsoft today is supposed to be probably be chosen, because otherwise we might shoot ourselves in the foot, just giving some roadblocks to move further in application management stage with the customer. So, and of course, if you have any questions or need any support, so we are always here for you. So always feel free to contact us by OneClickFactory.com, or even call our local office or write to the service at OneClickFactory.com. So we will be happy to have a conversation. And now, by the way, actually, there's going to be a handout, like a free checklist, so be provided at the end of the presentation for you. And now let's move to Q&A session. And I believe, Paulo, we have already the first question
we do.
posted for
That's
you.
A technical one.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so I'll take that. So first question that we see in the chat is, what would be the tentative times to complete a data migration? So, well, that's a wide question, I guess. If you have in mind the preparation for the data migration, so let's say the effort that it takes to prepare for data migration, and if we are talking, let's say, as is data from AX12 to Dynamics 365, okay, I see clarification from Dynamics AX to F&O. So it takes around 200 hours to prepare the migration, usually. But to execute the migration, to migrate the data, you can migrate in a weekend. So that's the time when you need to shut down the Dynamics AX and have it on F&O. So it's usually a weekend is enough, even less than that. Yeah. So yeah, hope that answers.
Yeah, and I believe I have one question for me. So what people from the customer side should be involved in the pre-sale phase for the successful implementation and the further migration project? And it's a very relative question, because yes, of course, who's an owner of the project, right? So it could be an IT department, it could be a little bit maybe mixed with F&O, usually it's an IT department. And as far as we are involved in different initiatives with the customer, there is really a head or the owner or somebody who makes a decision. So this is the first person. Then, of course, there are process owners, and there are people at the customer always is a project manager who probably is already hired to go through the project, and thanks God, customers already very kind of innovative enough to understand that only by by their own, by the business people, they are not going to be managed such heavy implementation. So IT manager, project manager from the customer, and of course, key business areas, business owners. Would it be finance? Would it be warehouse? Would it be trade? And so on, because those people, first of all, they know the best processes. Of course, probably they know why some specific modifications were done in the previous system and are they still relevant or not. And as soon as going through the new system demonstrations and envisioning workshops, trying to figure it out how many modifications supposed to be left out, actually they are going to be the ones stating should we go on standard or maybe some modifications to be moved into the new version. So let's wait a little bit more for a few more questions, hopefully. I really, guys, understand we are all in very Christmas mood. It's quite difficult to talk about kind of things like F&O transitioning projects or F&O migration projects that we are going through. But actually, I'm pretty proud that you all joined our webinar today, because I hope that it will give you very good kind of footprint starting 2022.
And we forgot our Christmas hats.
Yes, we
hope you guys have them on.
Yeah. So probably then, yes, we're supposed to add our Christmas hats here, and we really would like to wish you all very Merry Christmas and holiday season to have. I hope you all will have very amazing time with your families, and then very happy 2022 for all of you and us, of course. So have everybody good rest of the evening.